World designed to constantly hijack your attention and manipulate your emotions, your peace of mind is under continuous attack. Every single day, you are bombarded with situations that test your patience, spark your anxiety, and trigger your temper. Most people live in a state of constant emotional reactivity, jumping at every distraction and breaking down over every minor setback. They give away their personal power to everyone around them without even realizing it. If you let external circumstances decide how you feel, you will spend your entire life being controlled by things you cannot change. There is a powerful antidote to this constant state of mental chaos, and it is called emotional detachment. Contrary to popular belief, emotional detachment is not about becoming cold, unfeeling, or disconnected from reality. It is about gaining absolute control over your attention, your reactions, and your inner peace. It is the supreme ability to remain completely calm and centered, no matter how chaotic the world gets around you. When you master emotional detachment, you stop taking things personally, you stop wasting energy on toxic drama, and you become virtually impossible to manipulate. This video series is your complete blueprint to understanding, developing, and mastering this life-changing mental power. We will break down what true detachment really means, how to apply it step by step in your daily life, and how to build an unshakable mind that thrives under pressure. It is time to take back the remote control to your emotions and reclaim your true power. Most people think emotional detachment means turning into a cold, heartless robot. They assume it means throwing away your relationships, ignoring your feelings, and living in complete isolation. That is one of the biggest misconceptions in modern psychology. True emotional detachment is not about caring less. It is about taking control of what gets to affect your mind. It is the ability to observe a situation without immediately reacting to it. Every single day, your peace of mind is under constant attack. Someone insults you in a meeting, and you spend 3 hours replaying it in your head. A partner does not reply to your text, and your anxiety spikes out of control. A project fails, and you start questioning your entire worth as a human being. You spend most of your life on emotional autopilot. You let external events decide whether you will have a good day or a bad day. When you live like this, you are effectively giving everyone around you the remote control to your emotions. Emotional detachment is the process of taking that remote control back. It creates a necessary buffer between what happens to you and how you choose to respond. Think of your mind as a peaceful home. Right now, the front door is wide open, and every passing storm, random opinion, and chaotic event walks right inside and wrecks the furniture. Practicing detachment means building a solid front door. You can still look out the window and see the storm, but it no longer has the power to ruin what is inside. To understand why this is a hidden superpower, you first have to understand how emotional reactivity drains your energy. When you react emotionally to everything, your body stays in a constant state of fight or flight. Your brain releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline over tiny, inconsequential problems. Over time, this chronic stress burns out your mind, ruins your focus, and physically destroys your health. You end up making reckless decisions because you are acting out of fear, anger, or desperation rather than logic. Emotional detachment stops this toxic cycle dead in its tracks. It gives you the space to pause, analyze, and decide on the best course of action. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What is the most effective response right now?" This shift in perspective instantly changes your entire life dynamic. In personal relationships, detachment prevents unnecessary drama and explosive arguments. In your career, it allows you to handle high-pressure situations with absolute calm while everyone else is panicking. In your personal goals, it keeps you consistent because you stop relying on fickle emotions like motivation. You start doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel in the moment. Now, let us address the critical difference between emotional detachment and emotional suppression. Suppression is hiding your feelings, pushing them down, and pretending they do not exist. Suppression is dangerous because those buried emotions eventually explode into rage, depression, or physical illness. Detachment, on the other hand, is total awareness combined with non-attachment. You acknowledge the emotion completely. You say to yourself, "I feel angry right now," or "I feel anxious right now." You sit with that feeling, but you do not let it drive the car. You recognize that you are the observer of the emotion, not the emotion itself. You are the vast ocean, and the emotion is just a wave passing on the surface. Waves come and go, but the depth of the ocean remains completely calm and undisturbed. When you master this distinction, you stop taking things personally. When someone attacks you or disrespects you, you instantly realize that their behavior is a reflection of their own internal chaos, not your value. Their anger belongs to them, not you. By refusing to absorb their energy, you remain completely untouched. This level of emotional control makes you nearly impossible to manipulate or intimidate. People quickly realize that they cannot pull your strings to get a reaction out of you. You gain an invisible shield that protects your focus, your energy, and your peace. This is the foundation of emotional detachment. It is not about retreating from life, it is about stepping into your full power. Whenever you are ready, let me know. Now that you understand what emotional detachment really is, let us dive into how you actually apply it in daily life. The first step in mastering emotional detachment is developing the power of the deliberate pause. Between every stimulus and your reaction, there is a tiny split second of space. In that space lies your freedom and your power to choose your response. Unconscious people react instantly, letting their emotions dictate their words and actions without thinking. Mastering detachment means widening that space until a quick reaction becomes a conscious decision. When something triggers you, train yourself to take one deep breath before saying or doing anything. That single breath signals to your nervous system that you are safe and in full control. It prevents your brain from going into an immediate blind fight-or-flight mode. The second core practice is learning to separate facts from the stories your mind invents. When an event happens, your brain instantly creates an internal narrative about it. For example, if your boss gives you critical feedback, the fact is simply that feedback was delivered. The narrative your mind builds might be, "My boss hates me, I am going to lose my job and my career is ruined." Emotional detachment requires you to strip away the story and stick strictly to the objective facts. Ask yourself, what actually happened here, without my interpretations, assumptions, or fears? By focusing only on objective reality, you eliminate 90% of your self-created suffering. The third critical element of emotional detachment is letting go of the need to control outcomes. Most of your anxiety comes from trying to control things that are entirely outside of your influence. You cannot control how other people think, act, or feel about you. You cannot control the economy, the traffic, the weather, or the past. Trying to control those external factors is like trying to stop the wind with your bare hands. It is exhausting, impossible, and will leave you feeling helpless and angry. The Stoics called this concept the dichotomy of control. Draw a clear line in your mind between what is in your power and what is not. Your thoughts, your actions, your effort, and your reactions are completely within your power. Everything else belongs to the external world and must be accepted as it comes. When you attach your happiness strictly to your effort rather than the outcome, you become unshakable. If you prepare relentlessly for an interview, you have succeeded in doing your part. Whether they hire you or not is outside your control, so there is no reason to let it break your spirit. You simply adjust your strategy and move on to the next opportunity with full confidence. This brings us to the concept of radical acceptance. Radical acceptance means acknowledging reality as it is in this exact moment, without fighting it. Wishing a bad situation were different does not change it, it only doubles your pain. When you accept what is, you instantly stop wasting vital energy on unproductive anger or regret. Acceptance does not mean surrender or approval of a bad situation. It simply means acknowledging the starting point so you can move forward intelligently. Another powerful technique for emotional detachment is shifting your perspective through time framing. When you are stressed about a problem, ask yourself, will this matter in 5 days, 5 months, or 5 years? Most of the minor issues that ruin your day right now will be completely forgotten in a few weeks. Viewing your current challenges through the lens of time instantly reduces their emotional weight. It reminds you that this moment is just a tiny blip in the vast timeline of your life. You also need to evaluate the emotional investment you make in other people's opinions. Validation seeking is one of the quickest ways to lose your emotional independence. When you rely on compliments to feel good and panic over criticism, you hand over your freedom. Detachment means recognizing that people's judgments are heavily distorted by their own biases, moods, and personal insecurities. Their opinion of you has far more to do with who they are than who you actually are. When you stop needing approval, you stop being easily manipulated by praise or intimidated by disapproval. You become grounded in your own internal core of self-worth. This level of detachment transforms you from a fragile target into a centered, resilient force. You no longer waste time complaining about how things should be. Instead, you focus entirely on navigating reality effectively and calmly. Whenever you are ready, let me know. To make emotional detachment a permanent part of your life, you must integrate it into your core identity. This is not a temporary tactic you use only during a crisis. It is a fundamental shift in how you navigate the world. The ultimate goal of detachment is to achieve complete emotional sovereignty. Emotional sovereignty means you are the absolute ruler of your internal world. No person, event, or unexpected tragedy can take away your inner calm without your explicit permission. One of the most effective long-term practices for maintaining this state is boundary setting. Detachment without clear boundaries leads to apathy, while boundaries with detachment create absolute freedom. You must define what behaviors, energies, and demands you will allow into your space. When someone crosses your boundaries, you do not need to scream, argue, or throw an emotional tantrum. You simply enforce your boundary calmly, firmly, and without guilt. Your response should be direct. I will not participate in this conversation if you raise your voice. If they continue, you walk away without anger, simply honoring your commitment to your own peace. Enforcing boundaries quietly shows supreme self-respect and emotional maturity. Another essential habit is practicing cognitive distancing through self-talk. Pay close attention to how you talk to yourself when you are under immense pressure. Most people use I statements that lock them directly into their negative emotions. Phrases like, I am terrified, or I am completely ruined, make the emotion feel like your permanent reality. Instead, speak to yourself in the second or third person using your own name. Say, John is feeling stressed right now, but he knows exactly how to handle this situation. Psychological studies show that this simple linguistic shift creates immediate distance between you and the emotion. It activates the logical part of your brain and lowers your emotional intensity within seconds. You go from being trapped inside the storm to becoming the calm pilot navigating through it. You must also master the art of letting go of the past and not obsessing over the future. Ruminating on past mistakes is a major source of guilt and useless emotional suffering. The past is a finished script. No amount of regret, replay, or anger can change a single detail. Extract the practical lesson from the mistake. Throw away the emotional baggage and return your focus to the present moment. Similarly, chronic anxiety is simply your mind creating terrifying fantasy scenarios about a future that does not exist. You cannot solve problems that have not happened yet with information you do not yet possess. When your mind drifts into future anxiety, anchor yourself firmly in the present task right in front of you. Focus entirely on executing the current step with total presence and precision. When you live fully in the present moment, anxiety loses its grip on your mind entirely. Furthermore, practice non-attachment to your own ego and self-image. When you are desperately attached to being seen as smart, successful, or flawless, every minor failure feels like a personal catastrophe. You become defensive, fragile, and constantly on guard against any perceived threat to your reputation. Detachment allows you to accept your flaws, embrace your mistakes, and view failures as valuable feedback rather than personal defeats. You stop trying to prove yourself to the world and focus purely on improving yourself. This frees up massive amounts of mental energy that was previously wasted on maintaining a fragile persona. As you go through life with this mindset, you will notice a profound transformation in how people treat you. People are naturally drawn to individuals who remain composed, grounded, and cool under intense pressure. Your calm presence becomes an anchor for everyone else in chaotic and stressful environments. You become a true leader, not by dominating others, but by exercising absolute control over yourself. Emotional detachment is the ultimate form of self-mastery. It is the supreme key to mental clarity, unshakable confidence, and deep internal peace. Start practicing it today in the small everyday moments that usually test your patience. Take that deep breath, step back, observe without judgment, and choose your response intentionally. Reclaim the remote control to your life and step into your true, unshakable power. If this video brought value to your life, hit that like button right now. It helps the algorithm push this message to people who need to hear it today. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications so you never miss a video on self-mastery and mental strength. I want to hear from you down in the comments. Type the phrase, I am in control, if you are committing to practicing emotional detachment starting today. Also, share this video with a friend or family member who needs to reclaim their inner peace. Thank you for watching, keep your composure, and I will see you in the next video.